Hi guys, Mr. Hickson here, and today I'm going to be taking you guys all through how to make a rocket that can launch up to maybe 50, 60, 70 yards down the football field. Super exciting stuff. So if you guys are ready, let's get started. So first things first, we're going to need to check out our materials. And the first material we're going to need is a 1/2 inch PVC pipe. And I have a ton of this in my room, and I'm happy to cut it for you guys. The next thing we're going to need is a piece of paper. And this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And I've already decorated, wrong side, on this little side here. And how this is going to work is we're going to wrap this around the rocket. And so eventually, the only part that's going to show up is your really cool design. We are also going to need some form of glue. I will be using a hot glue gun, but you can use a glue stick and that should work just fine as well. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need some tape, either duct tape or masking tape or electrical tape would be really good because it's nice and heavy. And then finally, you're going to need a little square of cardboard. And this is going to be for your little fins down here on the bottom of your airplane. So now that we're ready, let's go ahead and get started. And the first step is that we are going to take our PVC pipe and we are going to take our paper. And let me see if I can angle this down a little bit. And we are just going to roll. And so let's put it right there. And we're just going to gently roll this around our PVC pipe. You want to make sure it is kind of tight, but it doesn't need to be super duper tight, because if it's super duper tight, it could get stuck on the rocket. And then what I like to do at this point is actually use a little glue stick. And my hope is that this is going to help keep the paper from kind of bunching up as we rocket it. Sometimes when you put it down into the rocket, it has a tendency to bunch up a little bit. And that's what happened yesterday with one of our rockets. It kind of almost exploded on the plane or on the tube. And we don't want to explode on the tube. So I'm just going to put a couple lines of glue. And then here's our final one. I'm gluing my desk, but that's okay. And so we have our rocket. I think that looks pretty darn amazing. All right. So once you are at this point and you have a rocket that is nice and glued onto your PVC pipe, all right, and it can kind of freely move around, what we're going to do next is move our little rocket to the top of the PVC, and we're going to just overlap it just a little teensy bit. So there's some paper in between where the top of the PVC is. And this right here is going to be the top of our rocket, or the top of our rocket. And so what we're going to do at this point is we're actually going to just fold the paper in on itself this way. And then we'll fold it this way as well, just so it's nice and eventually going to be airtight. And so once you have this right here done, again, you can use glue. I'm actually just going to go ahead and use a little bit of tape. And I'm just going to put a couple little strips right here at the top, just to kind of glue it down. And I'm sorry for whoever's face, Mr. Palmieri, that I am taping over. But that'll be the top of our rocket right here. All right. So we got our rocket still glued to itself, and we've got our cap right here. So then, next step, and this is where I'm going to use the hot glue gun, but you guys can feel free to use regular glue. That should work as well. And we're going to decide what kind of fins we want to have on the bottom of our rocket right here. And so I like to do fins that kind of look like this. They're long triangles, Some people have had a lot of success with little triangles, maybe similar to like something like this right here, like a little fin. But that's up to you, and that's something that we can experiment with. We can try different fin sizes and see what works the best. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead and make nice long and triangular fins. And so what I am going to do is, how am I going to do this? How should I do this? I will cut them this way. So I'm going to cut like a nice triangle. Do this one. And these don't have to be totally perfect, but I think if you can get them looking about the same size, that would probably be best. And so I have 4 little fins right here, as you can see, and they are all fairly similar in size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to glue them evenly spaced at the bottom of my rocket. Oh my goodness, don't drop the hot glue gun on your lap. So I'm going to take my hot glue. And if you are using a hot glue gun, maybe ask a teacher to help you so you don't burn your little fingers. All right, so there's one fin. Oh, I'm up off the camera. There's one fin on the rocket. I'm going to go ahead and repeat with my other fins. I might need a little more hot glue as well. All right, so number 2. Right. 2 fins. Let's get our 3rd fin. And our final fin will go right here. Definitely going to need a little bit more glue. Okay, so let's stick that right there. Perfect. So you can see our fins are roughly evenly spaced. And this rocket is almost ready to fly. And it would fly, actually, if we just launched it just the way it is. However, when you're doing some high-pressure rocket launches, you're going to want to weight the tip a little bit and also create a more tight seal. And so what I'm actually going to do is at the top of my rocket right here, I'm just going to wrap duct tape around and create like a protective cone. So I'll go ahead and take my tape, and maybe I'll do some hot glue to them. Maybe a smart move, maybe not. I don't know. Let's take this. Stick a little hot glue in there. And all right, so let's grab our duct tape. And I'm going to be covering up some faces, and I apologize. So I'll take my duct tape. I'll go ahead and I'll cut it in half again as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this tape all around the top of my rocket. Note to self. Fast forward. So we got a good little bunch of duct tape up there. Go ahead and just add like a strip up here to the top. I'll bunch it down a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and just stick one more piece of duct tape around. Morning. All right. So we've got our rocket. We got some duct tape on the tip. I think for this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and finish it off with a little hot glue on the top, just to kind of solidify the rocket. But that's just an extra move. You don't have to do this. Just thinking that if we do this, maybe when it lands on the ground, it'll be a little more sturdy. One sec, dude.
Hi.
Hi. All right. And there is our, thank you, sir, completed rocket. 4 fins. Cool design. Nice weighted tip. This thing is going to launch 50, 60, 70, 80 yards. And there it goes. All right, guys. Hope you had fun. Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to make these today. All right. Bye-bye.